So what are the My School advantages to any government? So by My School being used by very many schools, that creates a pool of data for those schools. For example, if, the software gets used by all schools in Uganda, that means it will create a pool of data for all students in the country. It has all data pertaining all students in one database. Data pertaining students' biodata, students' academic performance, financial fees payments, academic performance, etc., etc. So that kind of data is very helpful to the government when it comes to decision making. For example, in deciding whether the student, in deciding when it comes to finances, the government is able to decide the school dropouts and their causes because it has the data in one place. At the same time, the government is able to implement continuous assessment in all schools. Instead of relying on, you find that the current education system worldwide relies on final exams, but that's unfair. Someone has been performing within 1 hour, you judge a person. So the world that doesn't have a mechanism of tracking someone's performance for the previous tasks. So with My Schools now, it stores scores for pre-exams like midterms, end of term, then the final papers. So that data can always be referenced to for verification purposes or any other reference. So through My Schools software, the government is also able to track, the government is likely to realize reduction in administration and supervision costs of schools. So I don't know how much the ministry spends now, but it would be a lot of money to do head count of students. The government is spending a lot of money to implement head counts, and at the end of the day, it doesn't get collect, like 99% collect results. But now with My Schools, what happens, once government gives us the mandate to implement My Schools in schools, we shall handle one school at a time, inputting students' data, and after putting that data, we go to another school. At the end of the day, we shall have all schools incorporated in a single database. And once that data is put in a single database, it means that it can be accessed wherever you want, wherever the government needs. For example, to establish how many students we have in the country, it's a click of a mouse. How many students are going to sit UNEB, it's a click of a mouse. How many students were promoted to P7, the whole country, this number. How many were able to register for UNEB, this number. Where did the remaining balance go? How many students are likely to sit for senior 6? This number. So that kind of data, once it is available to government, it will help the government, first of all, in policy formulation. So My software is useful in that way. Then Another aspect is the government of Uganda has invested a lot of money towards e-school, supporting schools to go electronic in terms of hardware. There is a lot of investment in terms of hardware, but less has been done to support these schools in terms of softwares. Teachers have been trained how to use Microsoft Word. Teachers have been trained how to use Excel. But there isn't a common software. There isn't a user-friendly software. There is no software that brings all schools together that they can use in their day-to-day activities. So Myschools is a software that is filling in that gap. And Myschools, you find that it interacts with both Microsoft Word and Excel. So you find that it supplements on the works already done by the government. So you find that if for example, if I may bring in this aspect of accessibility, because you find that internet is a challenge in Uganda. You find that most of our schools, they are remotely located. When it comes to managing offline softwares, it is not possible. Why? They need servers, they need what? But with Myschools now, it is internet-based. What happens? A school, government can set up centers. Say if it is Good Town, it sets up a center and it empowers that center with internet. Now what happens now, one person comes from the school, he goes to the center, he downloads templates in Excel, he takes them back to school, so they are able to fill in the data, then he can come back and uploads that way. He uploads, it takes less time. After uploading, he's able to generate, say, student academic reports, student financial statements. But it's as he gives that data, the person at the ministry, say of education and sports, is also able to get the same kind of data. So it's a centralized way of bringing all stakeholders together in the education system. And in that way, there is a way it reforms. There is a way it makes everyone accountable. A teacher is accountable to teach because at the end of the day, the kind of scores for his or her pupil is just at a click of a mouse. So if he goes to the ministry, it's a question of an officer asking the person, yes, you are complaining about your salary, let me check, what's your name? He puts in the name, then he searches. So he's able to tell whether the person has been teaching or he's registering failures. So those are the few advantages I can talk about that my school can benefit the government.